There are more MSRs in circulation than there are Ford F-Series trucks on the road. Think about that. Welcome back, brothers and sisters. I am Braden. This is Langley Outdoors Academy, and thank you for stopping by. All right, guys, what we're going to talk about tonight is something that could be considered a watershed moment for ARs, the Second Amendment, modern sporting rifles, and overall freedom in general. Now, one of the most common and important phrases that we have heard recently is something called common use. And that's what we're going to break down today because, according to 3 different Supreme Court cases, the numbers that I'm about to show you from the NSSF, or the National Shooting Sports Foundation, are going to make it and firmly cement the idea that MSRs, or ARs, or assault weapons are going to be considered common use items and will not be banned per this definition and the adoption rate. Everything is going to be linked in the description box below. I cannot wait to hear what you guys think of this one, because this is some serious potential. Make sure you spread this out to anybody you think would find interest. Now, a special announcement. This is the last time that you guys are going to be able to get the exclusive shirt. It's a limited design that I designed with 9-line. You're seeing it on the screen right now. This is an ode to constitutional carry because we are halfway there, baby. This is the 2022 design. It's got the 50 states on the front, 25 of which are red for the 50 constitutional carry states. And then on the back, it is a 2022 tour with all the states listed that we have currently and my logo. And you know that 2023 is going to change, so make sure you take advantage and get it while you can, because it will not be printed again. All right, so with that, let's dive into this. Like I said, everything is always linked. I want to hear from you guys. Let's get it. Commonly owned. Now, the NSSF announces over 24 million MSRs in circulation. Now, modern sporting rifles is what they're referring to. The right would call them modern sporting rifles. The left would call them assault weapons, military-style weapons, whatever you want to call them. That's the difference here. It's a different nomenclature. All right, check this out. Newtown, Connecticut, NSSF. The Firearm Industry Trade Association updated the industry estimate of modern sporting rifles in circulation in the United States to 24,446,000 since 1990. That is an increase of over 4.5 million rifles since the last estimate was released in 2020. To put that in perspective, there has been an exponential growth of the AR-15, or the MSR as they're referring it to here. This is becoming and has become America's rifle. It does not get more common use than that. And now, before I keep going on this, keep in mind, common use is what the Supreme Court has determined protected by the Second Amendment. No touchy. You can't infringe upon it. That's a no-no. So if you are going down this road of, well, we're just going to do common sense gun reform or common sense gun control, modern sporting rifles, or ARs, or AKs, or whatever you want to call them, would fall under common use. No matter what branding and manipulation term you want to use, the point is, over 25 million of them are in circulation. That is a common item. It's not like in the 90s when the 1994 ban went into effect, which I'm going to show you in a second, which was around 270,000. Incredibly important difference, but let's keep going. The estimate is derived from NSSF Research, Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco and Firearms and Explosives, Annual Firearms Manufacturing and Exportation Report, and U.S. International Trade Commission data. In cooperation with manufacturers, importers, and exporters of MSRs, or AR-15 and AK-style rifles, this most recent estimate includes production figures current through 2020, when the industry estimates over 2,798,000 of these rifles were produced or imported. This estimate does not include MSRs that were produced and exported or imported on a later exported. Man, I struggled through that sentence. All right, the idea here is, as this continues to ramp up, and the graph I'm about to show you is going to blow your mind, but as more and more people adopt this rifle, this pattern, it becomes more and more ingrained in American culture, more and more ingrained in common use, which is defended by the Second Amendment in the Miller decision, in the Bruin decision, and in the Heller decision. All 3 of these decisions reinforce common use. It's protected under the Second Amendment. That's why this is so important. We're always looking at the why on this channel. That's why. But check this out. The MSR remains the most popular selling center-fire semi-automatic rifle in the United States today. There are more MSRs in circulation than there are Ford F-Series trucks on the road. Think about that. More MSRs, or modern sporting rifles, or ARs, in circulation in the population than Ford F-Series vehicles. F-150, 250, 350, all of it. If that's not common use, I don't know what is. But let's keep going, because just to give you an idea, that's incredibly important. Quote, "This is a truly significant figure that demonstrates, again, the popularity of this commonly owned style of rifle," said NSSF President and CEO Joe Bartozzi. The firearm industry responds to market demand, and this shows that during the elevated period of firearm sales that began in 2020, this particular style of rifle is the top choice for law-abiding citizens for hunting, recreational shooting, and self-defense. Thanks, Democrats. Remember that whole defund the police thing? Well, that backfired on you, didn't it? This is exactly what we're seeing. We saw the rise in gun ownership. We saw the rise in first-time gun buyers across different demographics, minorities and women included. And it just so happens at the exact same time, you had more rifles than the Ford F-Series on the road. If that's not impactful and that doesn't make you go, wow, I don't know what does. But you know how I like to bring the receipts and the graphs? Check this out. As I mentioned earlier in this video, in 1994, U.S. production was 103,000. 171,000 were imported, less exports, and then 274,000 annual were created. To give you an idea of why that number is important, in 1994, it's because that's when the assault weapons ban went into effect. This is when they were actually able to get it through Congress, and Bill Clinton signed it into law. The Democrats suffered a bloodbath in the midterms following that year because they infringed on the Second Amendment. Again, that whole common use thing. Now, Heller did not exist at that point. Bruin did not exist at that point. So they went about this at a smaller number. They still barely got it, and they still got punished. You go down to 2020, that's the most recent number. That's not even including 2021 and 2022. 2,466,000 were created. 332,000 were imported, for giving a total of 2.798 million ARs or MSR pattern rifles that go into population in the United States, for a total since 1990 of 25 million, roughly. You're talking about 25 million modern sporting rifles across the entire United States. This could not be more common use, and when you correlate it back to a car, just like the left likes to do with car data, it's got more MSRs in population than a Ford F-Series of any F-Series. If that does not make you just, I don't know what does. And that's what I've got for you guys. We are making the difference. We are fighting day in, day out, and it's starting to show. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you tomorrow morning on the Bullet Points. I'm Braden. See you later.